Hello YouTube, this is MTGeezers and we are bringing you the 6th of our 7 video series of our complete set review for Khans of Tarkir. And this time we're going to be taking a quick look over all of the blue cards from the set. So let's just jump straight into it with Blinding Spray. This is 5 for an instant speed, creature opponents control get -4/-0 until end of turn, and draw a card. I really like this card in Sealed. I think it's got a lot of potential, giving every creature -4/-0. It makes pretty much all creatures in white weenie decks just redundant. However, there are a few better cards for the same mana cost, like Aether Spouts for 5 and stuff like that. So I don't think it'll see so much play in Standard, but definitely good in Sealed. Next, we've got Cancel, a card we're all familiar with. I love the new art on it. It looks really, really sweet there. But just countering a spell for 3 mana, pretty good. Clever Impersonator is the new mythic for blue. For 4, you're getting a 0/0, however it enters the battlefield as a copy of any non-land permanent on the battlefield. This guy can enter as a copy of Garruk and uses +1 to kill your opponent's Garruk. He can enter a copy as a creature, an enchantment, anything. He's really, really strong card. They're currently going for about $11.99, however this is expected to go down and up quite a lot, so pick them up when you can when they're cheap. Sorry. Here's Crippling Chill for 3 at instant speed. Tap target creature and it doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step, draw a card. Possible play in Sealed. I like the fact that it lets you draw a card as well and makes a creature redundant for 2 turns. It's a solid card and maybe playable in Sealed. Dig Through Time is our first rare that we're going to take a look at. For 8 mana, you're getting an instant speed. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put 2 into your hand and the rest on bottom of your library, and it's got Delve. This card is pretty good if Delve becomes a thing. In lots of my videos I do talk about if Delve becomes a thing, because I don't know how far the mechanic's actually going to work. But if it does, if you can exile 6 cards, you're getting to look at the top 7 cards of your library and putting 2 into your hand for just 2 mana, which is a really strong ability, especially at instant speed, so I really like that. Disdain the Full Stroke is 2 for an instant speed, counter target spell with convert mana cost 4 or greater. This is a really good card, especially late game in Sealed. I'll see play for it Standard. It might even see play in formats like Commander as well, because every time they go and play one of their big creatures for a 7-drop or 5-drop, you can just counter it for 2 mana. Dragon's Eye Servant is 2 for a 0/6 with Morph by revealing a blue card in your hand, and when it's turned face up, look at the target opponent's hand. I really like this. I think it works well in some blue control decks. You get to look at their hand, so you know exactly what they've got, you know, if they've got counter spells and whatever, you know what's coming, and it's got a strong body base to it, so I really like it for that reason as well. Next, we've got Embodiment of Spring. You're getting 1 mana, you're getting a 0/3 with 2 tap, sacrifice it, and search your library for a basic land, put it into the battlefield, tapped, and shuffle your library. It's pretty good. I mean, 1 for a 0/3 is okay, but then if you are running green in your deck as well, the ability to mana ramp by getting an extra mana, it's pretty good. You can have 4 mana turn 3, so for those of you who don't know what mana ramping is, it's basically accelerating your mana. So you get mana quicker, you can play bigger spells. I like it. Lots of playing Sealed I can see for it. Forceway, I like. It's another bounce effect. 2 instant speed, return a creature to its owner's hand. However, if you control a creature power 4 or greater, you may draw a card, and if you do, discard a card as well. It's a bit like Voyager's End. I don't really know which one I prefer. I don't know whether I prefer to draw and discard a card or scry. But it's again a pretty solid spell, and that's instant speed. And it's a common, so I think it might even see play in some standard control decks, and definitely play in Sealed again and Draft. Glacial Stalker is 6 for a 4/5 with Morph for 5. A pretty basic creature. I like the strong base of it, so it's okay. Icy Blast is one of my favourite cards from the set. It costs X and 1 blue, instant speed, tap X creatures. However, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, those creatures don't untap on their controller's next untap step. If you just invest as little as 5 mana into this, you can tap down 4 of their creatures, and if you don't control a creature, they won't untap. So that'll let you get in for a load of damage on your turn, and it will stop them getting in for a load on theirs. Really solid card. Jeskai Elder is 2 for a 1/2 with Prowess. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card and discard a card. I really like cards with Prowess. I think they work really well, because if you have a load of dudes out with Prowess and you just cast 1 non-creature spell, that could be an enchantment, an instant, a sorcery, all your dudes get bigger, and it's really solid. I really like the effect, and I really like Jeskai Elder. Next, we've got Jeskai Wind Scout. For 3 mana, you're getting a 2/1 with Flying and Prowess. Again, Prowess is a really solid mechanic, and it's got good evasion because of the flying. I really like this card, and I think it will see a lot of play in Sealed and at your pre-release. Keru Spell Snatcher is 4 for a 3/3 with Morph for 6, and when it's turn face up, counter a spell. If a spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into his owner's graveyard, and you may cast that card without paying its mana cost. This card's pretty good if you're against like an aggro deck or a planeswalker deck or something like that, because you can turn your dude up for 6 mana, you're getting yourself a 3/3, and you're being able to play one of their spells, so this could potentially like counter an Elspeth, and you get to play Elspeth for free and keep it there, which is a really, really solid card. I don't know the value of it, but I presume it's quite high, and if not, I'd say definitely pick up a playset while you can. Misfire Weaver is 4 for a 3/1 with Flying and Morph. When it's turn face up, target creature gains Hexproof. I like this card, but I don't know how much play it's going to see. Obviously, giving a creature Hexproof is insane because they go and destroy your creature. You can just pay 3, turn this up, and it basically just counters their spell. So it's a solid body as well, and it's got Flying. Definitely see playing Sealed, but maybe in Standard. We've got to keep our fingers crossed for that. Monastery Flock is 3 for a 0/5 with Defender and Flying and Morph for 1. I really like this card. If it was a 0/5 Defender for 3 and Morph for 1, it would be playable. But because it's got Flying as well, and it can block all of the big 3/1 flyers in the set, and 4/4s, etc., I really like it, and I think it will definitely be played in Sealed at least. Mystic of the Hidden Way is 5 for a 3/2, and it can't be blocked. If you pay more for 3, you can turn it face up. It's pretty good. I mean, 5 for a 3/2 is okay. I prefer its Morph cost, which would allow you to play it on like 4th turn, obviously, because you have to pay it for 3 first, and then morph it up. It's pretty good. Here's another Mythic for blue, Pearl Lake Ancient. It's 7 for a 6/7 with Flash. It can't be countered, and it's got Prowess. And return 3 lands you control to its owner's hand, and return it to its owner's hand. I like it. It can dodge removal, it can't be countered, and it's got Flash. It's a really sweet combat trick if they're going to attack you loads of dudes, and I think it's definitely playable in Sealed. Will probably be played in Standard. Maybe in a Levathian deck in Modern. We'll have to wait for that. But it's a really, really strong card nevertheless, and I really like it. Next, we've got Quiet Contemplation for 3. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay 1. If you do, tap a creature and it doesn't untap. I think it'll definitely see play in limited formats and Sealed, but I don't know how much play it'll see in Standard. I don't really know what deck it'll fit into, but it's a solid card nevertheless, and I really like it. Riverwield Aerialists is 6 for a 4/5 with Flying and Prowess. Again, really strong evasive creature. It's got Flying, it's got Prowess. I think blue's actually looking pretty strong for this set. And if you open enough blue cards on your pre-release, it's definitely a colour to think about going into. Here's Scoldkin, which is 4 for a 2/2 Flying, and if you pay 3, it deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Again, really, really good in Sealed. You can go pinging them in the face when you've got loads of mana late game or whatever. You can pay 3, sack it, and deal 2 to them, or to one of their creatures, so I like this card, and it's got Flying again, good evasion. Here we have the Scion of Glaciers, 4 for a 2/5, and pay 1, it gets +1, -1. So you can potentially make this card like a 5, you can make this card pretty big, basically. I really like it. You can make it like a 5/2 and etc. by just paying mana. You can make it 6/1 without it dying, so it can take down quite a few threats. Obviously, you do have to have a lot of blue mana to be able to pay its cost loads, but I like it, and I think it's probably playable in Standard and Sealed. Set Adrift is 6 for a Delve cost sorcery. Put target non-land permanent on top of its owner's library. It's a good card. It's obviously going to screw over their draw and return something on top of their library. So if they're going to attack you, it returns it to the library, and you know what they're going to draw, etc. Delve, again, it makes the card much better. If you can go and delve for 3, this card is only going to cost you 3 mana, which is pretty reasonable, actually, so I really like it. Singing Bell Strike is 2 for an enchant creature. When it enters battlefield, tap the enchanted creature, and it doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. However, it has pay 6, untap this creature. It's basically like a pacifism effect for blue, where enchanted creature can't attack or block. However, late game they do have the chance to untap their creature if they so desire. It's strong, but I don't think it will be played in Standard, but definitely in Sealed formats, because it's going to tap down their dudes for at least 6 turns. Stubborn Denial. For 1, counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 1. And if you control a creature powerful or greater, counter that spell instead. I really like this, because you're being able to counter a non-creature spell, and if you control a creature powerful or greater, obviously they don't get the chance to pay 1, and it costs 1 mana, so this is pretty good. It works against planeswalkers, enchantments, and their instant sorceries that they're trying to cast as well, so it's a pretty strong card. Hagen's Scheming is 2 for sorcery speed. Look at the top 5 cards of your library and put any number of them into your graveyard and the rest back on top of your library. This card's actually pretty strong for most Sultai mill decks. If you just look at the top 5 cards of your library and you don't like any of them, you can go dump the lot into your graveyard, and then you've just got a load of fuel for your graveyard, pumping cards like Night Howler. So it's pretty strong, and if you do like one, you just leave it on top of your library and you know what you're going to draw. So it's a really good card. Thousand Winds is another rare we have for blue. For 6 you're getting a 5/6 flying, and it has more for 7. And when it's turn face up, return all other tapped creatures to their owner's hands. This is insane against aggro. If obviously they go and attack you with everything, you turn this face up and return all of their stuff to their hand before it even gets to deal damage. And obviously then on your turn it's got good evasion as well with flying. I really like it. Treasured Cruise is 8 for draw 3 cards with Delve. I don't think this card's very playable. Obviously, you guys are going to argue that if you can exile 7 cards from your graveyard, then you're drawing 3 cards for 1, which is insane. But really, there are so many Delve cards in the set, I just don't know how much Delve's going to work. And obviously, exiling 7 cards from your graveyard in a 60-card deck, I think Delve might work a bit better in Commander, but we're going to have to wait and see how well it does in Standard. And our final few cards for today, we have Waterwhirl for 6. Instant speed, return 2 creatures to their owner's hands, and again, another nice bounce spell. I think it could be played in Standard, and it will definitely be played in your Draft and Sealed events. Weaver Fate is for 4, draw 2 cards, instant speed. It's pretty good. I like the fact it's at instant speed, and you're getting to draw some cards. It's battling against, like, Divination, I think it's called, where you get to draw 2 cards for just 3 mana. Obviously, that one is at sorcery speed, I believe. Might be wrong there, but it's a good card nevertheless. Wetland Samba is 2 for a 2/1 vanilla text creature. It's pretty good. I mean, it's just a filler in your deck in Sealed if you've got nothing else to play, and obviously that is what it's made for, not much else. Maybe a bit of flavour to the set as well. And finally, final card we're looking at today, Whirlwind Adept is 5 for a 4/2 with Hexproof and Prowess. I love this card. I mean, if I open enough of these in my pre-release, I will definitely be going into blue, because Hexproof in a pre-release is really strong. There's not many ways you can get around it. And then with Prowess as well, making it bigger whenever you cast a non-creature spell, and if you can, like, enchant it with something, it's a huge body that's hard to get rid of, so I really like it. So, that concludes our episode for today. This was the 6th of our 7 episodes. We have one more to go through, which is the white cards from the set. If you're new to the channel, please just take a quick moment to subscribe to receive all of the latest and greatest Magic the Gathering content. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time. This is MTGeezers. Goodbye.